All right, we're recording. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is Steven Cedric talking to the band.
What up?
Steve, what's happening, Cedric?
Hey, what's up? I'm Cedric Hansen. How y'all doing?
Man, this is an awesome show today.
Man, this is real awesome.
Yes.
Yep. Yes, it
yes,
is.
sir, man. And I'm excited to talk to them. So we want you right now to call, tag, text somebody and let them know that Steven Cedric talking to the band is on live right now. Call somebody, tag somebody, and text somebody and let them know that we're on. If you have missed any of our previous episodes, tune into our YouTube channel, like and subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, and hit the alert button down below.
Yes.
And so you can get a notification when we upload new content. Cedric, where else can they find us at,
you know, you can check us out on Instagram and Twitter at Steven Cedric talking to the band number 2. That's Steven Cedric talking to the band number 2, y'all. Check us out, y'all.
Cedric.
Hey.
I gotta wish a special happy birthday today.
Man, you better. you better wish.
Yes, sir. Man, I got, she's the love of my life, man. And I mean, has really been by my side. And I just want to wish a special happy birthday to Saya Muhammad. I love you. I love you. I love you. So, man, everybody out there, if you're in the comment section, send her a great big happy birthday.
Oh, man, y'all got to say this. Happy birthday, Sonya. Happy birthday. Enjoy your day. This is your day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, and then we got to send out some more happy birthday. I think.
Oh man, we got Carlos Woodard. We got Carlos Woodard. Yeah, Carlos. Yeah.
Happy birthday, bro.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. You know, yeah. On a somber note, Cicely Tyson. We had, she just passed away this week. Man, the Queen. I mean, the Queen, man. I grew up, man, watching all her movies, man. I mean,
yes, sir.
Is definitely the Queen. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Our condolences go out to her family, and just want you to know you're in our thoughts and in our prayers. She definitely really was pro-Black, and I mean kept it real all the way.
Man, from Roots, man, to Miss Jane Pittman to man, to Buster Loose. Well. Yeah, man, good grief, man. Wow.
Yes, sir. Well, Cedric, I'm excited about this show today.
Me too.
There's going to be a lot of great information, and you don't want to miss it. So have your share button ready to go. Share this video, like this video, comment on this video.
Ask your questions.
Yes, ask your questions while we're live.
Yeah.
But as you always say, Cedric, let's get this show started.
Oh, man, no further ado. Let's go.
Let's bring them on right now.
Let's go.
Aija Penix and her father, Jet Penix.
Yeah.
Come on in, baby.
Yeah, come on in.
What's happening?
Hey. Come on in.
Come on in, Jet. We waiting on you, baby. Come on in.
Yeah, where'd he go? Let me see. He might have gotten kicked off.
He got kicked
off.
He's
there.
He's there?
Dad.
Yeah, I see him on there.
There he
is. Yeah. There he is.
What's up, Jet?
What up? What up? What up, cousin?
Unmute your phone or unmute your computer.
You getting it? How you doing, Aija?
I'm fabulous. Thank you. I'm fabulous. I'm happy to be here. This is exciting.
We're so happy to have you. We're so honored that
we're thankful. We're honored to have you on. Yep.
Honored you accepted our invitation. Yeah, for sure.
This is cool. All my life, I grew up hearing about you all, and all the adventures that you all had with my dad. So this is very full circle.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's real cool.
It was all real too. It was all real.
All real.
I believe that.
It's just as crazy as it sounded. It was just as crazy.
I love it. Dad, are you still muted? No, we can't hear you. Go back to your phone. Log off on your computer and go back to your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely got to hear Jet. We got to hear Jet. We can't do the show without old Jet.
Right,
old
right.
Jethro.
Yeah,
Jethro,
exactly.
you got to get on here, bro. You got to get on here. You know what? We need Mike Wright. That's what we need too. We need Mike Wright.
Get the Rat Pack all back together again.
Yeah, the band is back together again.
Yes, indeed.
I love that.
Indeed. Man, Aija, you know what? While we got you on, while he's working on this phone, what's been happening with you? I mean,
yeah,
I know you've been busy. Everybody knows you've been an activist, but outside of that, how is Aija Penix doing?
Well, like I'm just happy to be back to work. I am back in the South for the moment. My family-in-law, we all are in business together with a restaurant. We just opened a new bar.
Nice.
So I'm actually sitting in the bar.
Nice.
We got this thing open in like 2 weeks, which was wild, during a pandemic, which is even more wild. So I've been throwing all my energy for like the last month into getting things up to par here and, getting the ball rolling with this endeavor. I'm in the process of some pre-production work for a short film called Robbery. It's a comedy film that's with some friends of mine out of Nashville that now live in Los Angeles. So I'm happy to be back to work.
Wow.
I got you.
Now you're echoing.
There you are.
So turn it off on your computer.
I got you.
All right.
Oh, there you go. All right. So what kind of food you got in this restaurant, Aija? I know y'all got the chicken wings.
Well, okay. So the restaurant itself is a steak and seafood restaurant. Okay. So we specialize in high quality steaks that are actually, we use Bo Jackson, the former baseball player, his steak line. And we do seafood, and then upstairs in the bar we have elevated bar food. So we have some wings upstairs.
There you go. Okay.
We have
right. I'm on board now.
Wings.
I'm on board.
I'm already on board.
Yeah, it's really good. So it's Southern fare, but elevated downstairs in the restaurant. So what we did was we actually had a location in Homewood, Alabama, which is a suburb of Birmingham. And the city of Birmingham was really looking to bring more Black-owned businesses back into the city. So they offered up $1.2 million to get us to move. And so we moved into a now bi-level location that is connected to the Negro Southern League Museum, which is in the backyard of the Regions baseball field where the Birmingham Barons play. So we've got a beautiful, elegant steakhouse downstairs and a rooftop bar upstairs that has a beautiful view of the city and a beautiful view over the baseball field itself.
Oh, well, wow. Nice. Now, do you have live music also?
Yes, we do. We do live music. In the summertime on the rooftop, we have this thing we call Rhythm on the Rooftop, where every week there's a new different artist that comes in. Now that we've opened up the bar as its own separate concept, we're looking to start, some sort of residency, because it's number one, the bar is a speakeasy style bar. And so the playlist that we have going is everything from Frank Sinatra to Andre 3000 to Jay-Z and anything in between. Lots of Motown in there. But we're looking to establish a residency for live music artists to come in, nightly if we can, to kind of do their thing, piano bar style.
Nice.
That's what's up. Jet, we got you now?
Yes, sir.
What's up, baby?
What's up, Jet? What's up?
Tell me what's happening, man. What's been happening with you, man? We got COVID-19.
It's all good, man.
What's going on, bro?
It's all good, bro. Man, it's been a lot going on, man. Working with a couple of girls now. That's first thing. It's going to be great. I'll talk about that in a minute, but it's been a lot going on. You guys know I had some health challenges throughout the year. It was just a lot of corrective stuff, mostly with my back, my neck, my spine.
Right.
Just spent 17 days in the hospital.
Oh, wow.
That was a challenge of a lifetime. Yeah.
Always
Dude, you look great.
Brother. Looking great, man. Looking good.
Man.
Yeah. Yes,
well,
sir.
Thank you, guys. I feel great.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like they're getting everything corrected now.
I hear you, man.
That's what's up.
That's our Jet, man. That's our
Yeah,
Jet.
For
man.
real.
Yeah,
Yeah, you a soldier,
good to
Jack.
see you guys, man.
Straight soldier, man.
Yes, sir. Yes,
You
sir.
know,
Man, Jet, man, you know, we go way back. You know, we all go way back. And, oh, man, we done lost you again. We lost Jet. We lost him.
What is going on?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
You know,
Well, we'll
how
get him
we
back.
get up in
We'll
age
get
and
him
live
back.
and forget how to use technology.
Technology or something, you know.
Yeah,
Jet,
we'll get him back.
we're the same age, so you know,
So
technology.
you know how to use it, and he does not.
Here we go.
You got him? Is he back in? You gonna bring him back? There he
coming
goes.
back in now. Yeah.
Stay with us, Jet. Stay with
I
us now.
apologize. I apologize, fellas. That's why I
That's all
didn't
right.
use the phone, you know, because phones are kind of tricky.
Yeah, I know,
But,
man.
Enable your camera, Dad. We can't see you.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
There we go.
there you are.
All right.
Yeah,
Jet, man, listen, I got to take you back a little bit, bro.
yeah, I heard.
You're now, like back when we met, you was just coming from the Winans,
Yes.
and a lot of people really don't know that journey. But talk to us a little bit about that time in your life and how it shaped you, you know, to where you are today.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I would definitely say that that was probably one of the most influential parts of my life. That was where I really got poured into, you know, from the beginning. You know, I left home right out of high school,
Remember?
moved to Detroit. Yeah, and I met Marvin and Carvin Winans, the two twins. I met them 2 weeks after I moved to Detroit, and they just happened to hear me playing. I was playing at a church, at a musical, at the church that my family went to, and one of my church friends there had invited them out. I didn't know all of this, but he had invited them out to hear me, and so after service, he introduced me to them, and that was the beginning of that part of the journey. And that journey was great. It was great to work with them. I learned a lot from Marvin. I learned a lot about writing. That's when I began my writing career. While I was with the Winans, you know, he was a great teacher. Really, he was, and he still is. Thank God he's still with us. You know,
Right.
but that's the major part of that journey was just the learning part of it. I enjoyed playing. We did a lot of playing. We toured, you know. We started off, the first person that recognized the group was Andre Crouch, and that's where it started.
Wow.
Yeah, we did a show with them, and after the show, he and Sandra was like, wow, you know, let's talk. And that's how that started off.
Wow.
Next thing we knew, you know, the group was in the studio and album was done and we were out doing The Question Is.
Yeah.
That first single, that was a lot of fun. That's why I said that was most, you know, that's when it started off for me. And that's been the most influential part, or why I should say where I was mostly influenced, where I got most of my influence from.
Okay.
And I had a lot. That was the beginning of it. That's why I said that's where the journey started. But I learned a lot from a lot of people. You know, we've been fortunate enough to play on stage with Stevie Wonder, and oh man, I don't even want to start naming the people that we've, you know, been fortunate enough to play with.
Go ahead, drop them. It's okay to drop them, man.
Go ahead, drop them. That's what it's all about, baby.
Well, yeah, we've played with Take Six. We've played with, oh my God, the Hawkins, Tremaine Hawkins, Mighty Clouds of Joy. That's all the gospel stuff. You know, that's my influence was gospel. Before I started even producing any other you know, forms of music, I've worked in secular. I've worked with a guy named Jack Clemens. He was a country producer. He produced Johnny Cash,
wow,
Marty Stewart, Waylon Jennings, and I was fortunate enough to work with those guys. That was probably the next most influential thing that happened with me.
Wow.
Because I learned a lot from them, but it was a whole nother, it was a whole nother school. That was country music, but they're so close. Country and gospel, they're so close together.
Yeah.
Blues as well,
Yeah.
It all comes from the same place, which is those old Negro spirituals.
Yeah.
That's where it all comes from, So, but that was a good time. I learned a lot, like I said, from Jack. He would have the studio in the daytime, and then he would just turn it over to us. He'd work till about 1 o'clock, then turn it over to us. And wow, we had several artists. A girl named Kelly Williams. She was signed with Word Epic. We produced her first record. Of course, Mike E. I don't know how I can forget Mike E.
How can we forget that? Yeah.
Yeah. That was the first thing I did in Nashville. That's what had me move to Nashville. Not Mike, but just going down to work on the project. I love the city. And I just felt it was time for me to do something different, So we did 2 albums. God blessed us. We won 2 Dove Awards on those 2 records. And that gave us a nice push here in Nashville.
Okay.
Worked with Dawkins and Dawkins, a great group.
Yeah.
Who all have we worked with? Wow. Oh man, my brain is drunk right now.
Yeah, man. I mean, wow.
You did a lot. You did a lot in Nashville.
Man, wow. Coming from Rockford, where we come from,
Oh yeah.
And I can say that because me and Jet,
of course,
we go way back. I mean, we go
played
back.
Middle school football together.
Yeah, walked to school as kids.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
To be thrown in that environment, thrown in an environment like that, man. How did you feel, man? I mean, to be thrown in with the big boys,
It was great. Yeah. It was great, man. I mean, we had a strong start. You know what I'm saying? Going back to high school days. We had our high school band.
Yeah, we did.
Psalms 100, not Psalms 100, but the Brotherhood of Men.
Yeah.
Right. We played together. It was a bunch of us from church, from school, and just friends. And that was the first band we had, man. And that really gave me my start, to be honest with you. I had started writing when I got back with the group Psalms 100. By the time I got back with them, I had already worked with the Winans and started writing and all of that, So that part of my journey was it was wonderful.
Man.
Wow.
Well, Jet, I mean, I've known you since I was 12 years old. That's when we first met.
That's right.
And when you came to Rockford from Detroit, I mean, to me, you was a major star, after coming from the wine. And so, and to have you a part of our group, Psalms 100, that was just the experience of a lifetime for me. And, you wrote a lot of songs back then, Living in the Purple. Remember that?
Master Plan.
Oh yeah.
Living Beneath Your Privilege.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you was putting them out there. I mean, we were
ahead of our
revolution.
time, Steve.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we were.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what it was.
But we had some wonderful times traveling and doing some things. But I want to just now, just sort of talk to you a little bit about, just when you transitioned and went to Nashville. You did some tour, you did some work out there, I know, but that work, it shaped you in a certain way. Talk about that how it really, brought you to this point now in your life.
Yeah. So when I got to Nashville, by the time I got to Nashville, I was writing and producing. And as I just said, Mike E was the first project that we did. Well, it wasn't the first project that I wrote and produced. I had done a project in Detroit, but it was with a local label. It never did get any traction.
Okay.
But it was an experience as well. We learned a lot. We always learned when we were in the studio because we were always trying. You know what I'm saying?
That's
trying
good.
new things.
Yeah.
Trying, you know how we did with Psalms 100. We stretched the bounds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, but the beginning of Nashville was a real turn in my life. That's when I started really working with the professional guys. You know, the Winans gave me my push. That was straight out of high school.
Mm.
You know, by the time I got to Nashville, we had been out touring and we had done some things. So I was kind of ready for it. But I learned, you know, what I learned was more so from the studio perspective, the writing and producing. And that's when I started that. And that's pretty much what I've done throughout my life. I've taken some time off and gone out on tour a few times, you know. Great group, Take Six. I love those guys. That was an experience of a lifetime.
We checked you out on YouTube, man. I caught that
man.
YouTube.
We did. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
2002. Tokyo. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Now let me ask you.
Yeah, we caught some of that.
Are you still play sax, right? You still playing, right?
I still play. I don't get out and play much, but I still play. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, man, that's great. Aija Penix.
Yo.
Listen, you know, man, father, daughter.
Wow.
You really don't know how much you and your father are alike. I mean,
man, just a lot.
the whole
Just
yeah.
I said that's Jet right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
The female version of your father.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is
I'm
true,
stamp,
guys.
as he calls me.
That's right.
To talk to us a little bit about your filming career. I mean, you have won an award for just a project I believe you just put out. And forgive me, I just slipped my mind the name of that project.
So that actually, it was for a stage play that I sit on the board for a theater company. And we put together a stage play, and I shot the promo video for it, directed it, and edited it. And it went on to win awards for 2 years in a row. So I actually musically directed that show. So I won Best Musical Director in 2019, and for 2020, I won Best Produced because I produced it, I musically directed it. And we swept in the 2019 awards with that same production. And in 2020, I won Best Show for the decade. And these are Broadway World Awards. So this is like the Broadway critics. You know, they come out to all the shows and they critique them and write up, you know, reviews and things of that nature. And they go towards like, you know, like the people who look for playbills and stuff like that. Like they listen to them. And so I'm now an award-winning musical director and producer of stage and film.
Wow, great.
What was the name of it though? What was the name of the play again?
That was Choir Boy.
Choir, that's what
I thought. Okay. All right.
Yes. Yeah. And it's actually a Broadway play that was written about an all-boys choir in an all-boys school. It's really a progressive show. It's a really great show. I was very honored to be a part of that. The thing that I enjoyed about that is the script, the way it's written, allows for interpretation with the music. So I got to arrange all of the music for that show. And it's all, you know, Negro spirituals, hymns and things of that nature. So I was really able to pour into that show a lot of the influence that I got from learning from all of you guys and all the people that my dad was just talking about. So it was really lovely. I drew a lot from Take Six. I drew a lot from, you know, my gospel music experience growing up. And it was successful. The music was fabulous and we won awards.
Wow.
That's cool. That's
cool.
So cool. You know, along with that, musically, because I know you sing, you have a beautiful voice. Talk to us a little bit about your music side, your music career, and what you've done in music.
So I grew up listening to a wide range of music because of both my mom and my dad's musical tastes. They're both very eclectic when it comes to the music that they love and listen to, and eclectic from the strict gospel upbringing that, you know, they had. My mom grew up under the Hawkins family in Oakland, California. My dad grew up in Rockford. So I've had a lot of, you know, gospel influences in my life, and a lot of non-gospel influences in my life. Both of my parents are huge fans of Stevie Wonder, Prince, Donny Hathaway. So I grew up listening to that kind of stuff. And so my dad, as you all know, was a producer and a writer. And so I grew up in the studio with him, and my mom was always a background vocalist. And so when I was about 12 years old, I decided that I wanted to sing. And so my dad was like, okay, come get in the studio. And it was a girlfriend of mine. We both went into, and she could sing. Like, her name was Kyra Lawton. And she's a singer. But she and I both went into the studio, and she had studio experience. I did not. And I recorded myself singing one of Kelly Williams' songs that he was just referring to. And I hated it. I sounded terrible. And I was like, this is trash. I never want to sing again. Like, I can't do this. But it was one of the most formative moments of my life, because I learned the difference between a live performance and a studio performance. And I was able to go on and utilize those skills, you know, and really like hone in on finding my own voice, finding what worked for me, and really like learning how to make what I hear in my mind come out on the other side of the record. And so when I was 14 years old, shortly after that, I joined the praise team at church. I was always the youngest kid on the praise team and in the choir, because both my parents went to Mount Zion Baptist Church, which is Bishop Walker's church in Nashville. And so I quickly was singing within the ranks of people who were touring and people who were doing major productions and things of that nature, because Fred Vaughn, the musical director at Mount Zion, was someone that touring artists would call to put together their background groups and things of that nature. And so the praise team was full of that, including my mom. And so I quickly learned to hang with the big dogs. And at 14 years old, I did my first tour with Laurie White. God rest her soul. She's a country green-eyed soul artist. Is what she called herself, and she was brilliant. And from there, I just continued to work in the background, recording things for people in the studio, doing live shows. I mean, we were in Nashville, so Nashville is literally like every type of music that you want to listen to, you can find, and everybody's doing live shows all the time. So I had a lot of practice. And from there, I just continued to grow in that. And over time, I perfected my gift. I, became one of those people that people would call, for work. And so I sung with some of the greats. I've done country music stars like, what's man's name? Trace Adkins, Brooks and Dunn. I've sung on Dorinda Clark Cole records. I've done Beverly Crawford records. Like I've done the range is like huge, from the most gospel of gospel to pop R&B and everything in between. And so when I was about 20 years old, I decided to move back to Rockford. And when I was living in Rockford, I was at St. Paul. I became the worship leader there, and worked with the praise team, and that was a great time. And I met a friend who is a really good friend of mine, Lauren McGee, and y'all may know Lauren from Freeport. And Lauren is a producer as well, and so we became really good friends. And he was like, you really should like try writing. And I'm like, bro, I can't write. And so we would play this game where he would give me a topic and I would go write a song about it. And it kind of worked out. And so he and I did some stuff together. He produced a record that I wrote for Stacy from Rockford off of her record. And
Stacy Brown. Yeah, we just had her on. Yeah. Yeah.
So I wrote a record that was on her album, and I occasionally still get royalty checks from that, which is great.
Nice,
Cool.
nice.
Yeah, but I in Nashville from that point, because I was known as a singer, somebody reached out to my mom, that's a singer, and was like, "Hey, there's this television show that's shooting in Nashville. They're looking for a curvy Black girl to go on the show." And so I'm like, "Okay, I'll do it." Because we were thinking that it was some kind of like reality television thing, like it wasn't anything big. And I get to the rehearsal for that, and I'm like, "This does not look like reality television." And Hayden Panettiere walks by me, and I'm like, what are we doing here? And it turned out to be a network television show that I was on for 5 seasons as a background singer. And that's how I got into my film career. So I went to school for acting, but it wasn't until that show that I got from my singing that really purported me into really being interested in the filmmaking process. And so I basically, because the singing part was easy, right? Like I've been doing that my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted, real singers, real musicians, so that it looked real, it felt real. When we were playing, the show, it looked like a real band. But what I was doing was I spent 5 years sitting back and watching network television work and watching every position that everyone had to see, the magic that went in behind this whole process, because the product was such a beautiful product. And it was so fascinating to me to see all of those pieces in the background working. And so I ended up on network television for 5 years. And then shortly after that, I met someone in Birmingham who ended up being a really great friend of mine, and she and I just kind of got together. She was in stage plays and in reality television. I came from network television and stage plays, and we kind of combined our resources and started making films and started getting booked to make films. And so that's how that happened for me. So it was through music that I learned the process of filmmaking, and now I'm a producer. A film producer and director.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
That's
awesome.
crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, you have done work with Ann Nesby also from Rockford, right?
Yes,
Wow.
I have. Auntie Ann and I were actually at a stage play together in 2019 here in Birmingham.
Man, that had to be crazy there. Wow.
It was wild. It was so wild. So she had worked with, the guy that produced that show is a good friend of mine, and she had worked with him quite a few times. And when he told me that he was going to bring her in on the show, I was like, she's going to have no idea what's about to hit her. And it was so much fun to work with her. Wow. She's such a brilliant talent, and she has been like one of the best stewards of her gifts that I've seen in my life. Cool. Yeah, she's fabulous. She's amazing. Love her.
Wow.
Yes.
Man. Jet, I want to go back to you.
Can you guys hear me now?
We can hear you. Hang up your cell phone. Hang your cell phone up though.
I was waiting to make sure.
Yeah, you're good.
All right,
there we go.
Yeah, Jet, I want to go back to you, man. The project you're working on now. You're working on a project with 2 young ladies now. Can you explain what you're working on now?
Yeah. So I met a gentleman. His name is Dana Dow. He's been in television acting. He was in the movie A League of Their Own. He's worked with Tyler Perry, plays and stuff. So we were just talking, and after we met, he introduced me to his daughters. And they're 2 young ladies. One lives in Florida, and the other one lives in New York. Beautiful spirits, inside and out, beautiful girls, and they can sing. So we decided to start working with them, and that's where we are now. We've cut 3 songs on them, so this is just the beginning stages, and we're actually looking at starting a label. We formulated a label, to go ahead and release them on. Feel a little bit better about having that type of input as opposed to letting somebody else this early in their life take control of their careers.
What style are they? Gospel or
they are hip hop, R&B.
Oh, okay. All right.
Mainstream.
Oh, wow.
Okay, cool.
Mainstream artists, yeah.
And what are the names of
The girls are Bree and Leah. They're two sisters, Bree and Leah, and we're doing 2 solo projects on them. So
Okay.
they're each doing their own project, and they're working together with each other, you know, on their projects, and then they'll do a project that's a collaboration.
Okay. So when do we expect to hear some music out of them then?
Within this first quarter.
Okay,
We will be
great.
releasing something during this first quarter.
Great. Oh,
That's our target.
I also want to go back to 2002, man, because I've been playing this video and I've been looking at it. I said, look at Jet. Look at Jet. I said, man, take 6, man. How did you get that hookup, man?
Wow.
How did you get that hookup, man?
You know what? Check this out. This is the funny part about it. When we first moved to Nashville, I guess Aija was maybe 2. Maybe.
Oh.
And one of the first people that I met was Sherry Kibble. We met her through BB and CC. She was singing background with BB and CC. They were out on tour when I first moved down there. So Mike was working with them at the time, and Mike was also pursuing his rapping career. And so, you know, we got close. Mark and I, and Sherry and Chandra, my Aija's mother, we got real close. Mark invested money, went out and bought equipment, because I went down there. I had, man, maybe 2 or 3 pieces of gear. You know what I'm saying? a sequencer and a couple of modules.
You had a pot in the pan. That's all you had.
There you go, Stevie. There you go. Yeah, man. Oh, man. And so, you know, he and I, we just got real close. And I actually ended up producing some stuff with them on a couple of their projects, did some programming for them. And we just got close. I got close to all of the fellas. And so they ultimately did an album. Now, you know, the group Take 6 is an a cappella group.
Yes.
So they did an album where they decided that they wanted to do music.
And that surprised me the most. I was like, wow. Yeah.
Yes. And they got a great producer, Marcus Miller.
Whoa.
Bass player
Marcus Miller.
Yeah, he produced it, man, and it was awesome.
Ouch.
So yeah, man, it was great. So that year, their tour included music.
Wow.
So that's how that ended up happening. Mark, of course, by then I knew the whole group, knew everybody's family. You know, Aija was grown. She wasn't quite grown.
I was in like middle school at the time.
Yeah.
You thought
like
you was grown.
I thought I was grown. Yes.
What an experience, man! What an experience.
Yeah.
You also had experience working with the football player, the great football player, Reggie White. Yeah.
Reggie White.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Big Doggy Records.
Yeah, man. Can you tell us a little bit about that? You know, tell us some stories.
That was fun as well. Of course, you know, Reggie, superstar, football, you know.
Yeah.
Just all around.
Team, though.
Yeah, man. Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame. Yeah.
They said it. Wrong team, though. Wrong team.
Yeah, it is a wrong team.
Was he supposed to be with the Bears?
It's a wrong team.
Yeah.
He ended up,
you know, the Bears fans hate for Packers. Runs deep.
Yeah, with our nemesis.
Good brother just made some bad decisions.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's right. So yep. So we got to know Reggie. Mike met him through BB and CC. Okay, and this was after we had done Mike's second record with Reunion, and so that was the end of that agreement with Reunion. So Reggie decided he wanted to get involved with us. And so he decided to start a label. He had the wherewithal to do it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So we did. And Mikey was the first project on there. And then we had a kids group called YWFC, Young Warriors for Christ.
Wow.
Oh, excuse me. That's my mom.
Wow.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah.
Oh, they just said hi, Mom.
Well,
BB and Cedric just said hi, Mom.
Hey.
hey,
Just interrupted
Oh.
you again for the second time, but that's
you
okay.
know, for those who don't know, Mike E, I think probably was one of the first gospel rappers before all this hip hop. You know,
He was.
Yeah.
I think he was the first gospel rapper. There might have
the
been
He
first.
was.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's like really huge. Yeah. Yeah. So
Uncle Mike walked so that Lecrae could run.
yeah, yeah. I'm like, that's crazy, man. And Jet, man, now is your production company up and running, or is that something in the works?
Unmute
I'm
Jet.
sorry. Could you say that again, Cedric? I couldn't understand what you said.
Is your production company up and running, or is it something in the works right now?
It's up and running, but like I said, it's an entertainment company.
Okay.
Is what it is. Yeah. So it's established, you know, it's established with the state of Georgia. But like I said, it's a new company. We're just getting it up and started. These girls are the first thing that we will be releasing on that label, you know. That's
now,
where we are now. So
now can people get it? Can people get in touch with you? How can people get in touch with your company?
Okay, you can call 815-289-9571, and they will get in touch with me directly.
Okay. And another thing, what are you looking for as far? Are you looking for artists? That's
well, right now, what we're looking for mostly are writers and producers.
Okay.
Because you got to have a strong stable. You know, when you talk about Motown, Asia mentioned Motown a little while ago. That's what made Motown great.
Mm-hmm.
They had a great group of producers, a great group of musicians, and a great group of writers. Then you have the Supremes and the Temptations.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Know, all of that.
Holland Dozier Holland. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what makes it work, you know.
Yeah.
So that's where we are now. We're in the process of putting that machine together. You know, so we're definitely looking for, and we're always looking for artists. Now that we're in that stage, we're always looking for artists. So anyone can contact me. You know, I'm always looking to hear it from young upcoming artists. Definitely.
What's the name of the record label?
BME, Bless Media Entertainment.
Y'all got that.
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, I heard it. Yeah.
Yes, Bless Media Entertainment. So you will see us on Facebook, all the social media sites.
Okay.
Instagram.
Cool.
TikTok.
Cool.
Oh wow. God, don't you be out here Corvetting.
Yeah, I gotta say, man, I'm so proud of y'all. I'm so proud of y'all.
Oh.
You know, I'm so proud. I gotta rep Rockford. You know, always Rockford. You know, homegrown Rockford. I'm so proud of y'all. You know.
Of course, man. I'm proud of you guys too, man. Seeing you guys up here doing what you're doing, man.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro.
Putting a lot of knowledge out there. You know.
That's what it's all about. Give it back. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This is really like, this conversation is very enlightening to me, just because like hearing y'all talk about
go ahead, you guys. I'm sorry.
The story and like the origins of things and like the people that I grew up around. Like, so you talked about starting with the Winans, right? With my dad starting with the Winans. Like my mom used to tour with Cece, and my mom has always done Cece's hair. So I grew up under Cece, and Cece has a lot to do with my vocal style because she's someone that I studied. He talks about touring with Take Six. Like Mark Kibble is the first person, apparently, when I was like 2 years old, he used to do scales, and I would follow him up and down the scales. And so he walks around with the badge that he taught me how to sing.
That's
crazy.
Like
That's those crazy. Are the things that are so wild to me, like just to see from a bird's eye view now as someone who's in her 30s, you know, all the seeds that were sown in my dad's life, like being actualized in my life. When I was 15 years old, I released a record with Mark Kibble. You know, like it's a wild thing to see how influential his influences were in my life, completely separate from how they influenced him at a completely different time.
Yeah.
So this is pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Jet, some people that are listening want to know how can they get some of the old music? I mean, that you wrote. Is that? I believe you released a couple of songs that we did at Psalms 100. Are they able to get that music or what?
You know, that's a hard thing to find right now, because we were kind of before, you know what I'm saying, all the social networking.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, we were. Yeah.
So we didn't get introduced like that. You know what I mean? So
YouTube has stuff.
Yeah.
Now you know what there is. Ooh, why you say that? Hey man, she just mentioned that I worked at Mount Zion, right, for Bishop Walker in Nashville. So one day I'm in there in the production room. You know, we did full television production, so I was back in the production room, and one of the guys walked in and he was just laughing and laughing and laughing, man. I was like, man, what's wrong with you, man? He came over to me, man, and he just put his hand on my shoulder, man, and he just put the phone in front of my face. And I started rolling. Wow, that was the first time I had seen that, man, since then, right?
Right.
It was us on Bobby Jones.
Oh, yeah. 84.
It was crazy, man. Hey, hold up. Before I go any further, this guy has been sitting here in my hand for a minute. Stan, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
He wanted to cut in.
Hey, Uncle Dad.
Oh man.
Okay, Stan, you're there. We can hear you now.
What's up?
What up, Ralph?
I just wanted to cut in. I was watching the show. I was trying to be quiet. I guess I couldn't say nothing, so I figured if Mom can cut in, surely I can.
Wow.
I just wanted to say
That's good.
what up to my brother,
That's good.
and to my family, who I am so very proud of. Just proud to be a part of such two great people.
All these journeys.
In my life, they are very important in my life. I would give my life for these two people.
Oh man.
Likewise, my brother.
They are so incredibly talented.
Wow.
I just had to cut
Thank
in
you, Stanley.
Shout out to you. That I'm very proud of the two of you at what you've accomplished.
Thank you, Uncle Dad.
And to my brothers, I just, I'm still waiting.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's coming.
I'm so glad.
I'm waiting.
This show was very nice, man.
Yeah,
of course,
man.
I'm always chiming in from time to time, and when I can catch it. So yeah, I just wanted to cut in because I felt like I could.
Yes, sir.
That's good, man. Love you, brother.
That's good, man. Love you, bro.
All right, love you guys.
That was
All right,
yeah, love you, man. Man, that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Man, like,
yeah.
He's
That was
equally
beautiful.
influential in my life. Like coming from a musical family, like all of you all are part of my musical family. But my Uncle Dad, he really gave me the space to just like start exploring in the studio. I don't know if y'all remember my Auntie Lynn's first project.
Yeah, sure do.
Dream On.
Yep.
He really gave me the space. I was here for the summer. I had just graduated high school, and he was like, "Come in here and help me arrange these vocals." And so I did a lot of arrangement on that record, and that really set me up. Like that studio time really set me up for a career that allowed me the space to use those skills in other people's studio sessions, and people were always so impressed with my ability to match my vocals. And that is a Jet Penix and a Stan Penix thing. Like they had me in the studio many a night.
All their life.
Learning those things. Yes. My entire life. So shout out to you, Uncle Dad.
And her mom. We can't leave her out because that's where she got the voice from.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah, my mom was Josephine Jackson. She was Joe Jacksoning us from Wee Tuts, making us sing in harmony at 5 years old. You know.
Wow.
Always
cool.
a pitch queen.
Oh yeah. Wow.
She was on top of that for real.
Yeah.
Man, that's
Good,
fantastic. That's fantastic. We want to shift gears just a little bit. Aija, we want to talk to you. I mean, you've been very, very vocal as an activist.
Yep.
And toward Black and brown justice against police brutality. We can't talk about that without mentioning May 30th of 2020, which you had a major hand in trying to get justice for those who were falsely arrested and had suffered under the hands of police brutality here in Rockford, Illinois. Talk to us a little bit about your activism, but before you talk about it, I want to ask you just one question as a part A to that part B. What's your why? Okay. What is your why?
I have a total of 8 children that I am second in line responsible for. I have godchildren, I have little cousins, and I have a nephew. And I now have 3 god girls, but I used to only have 1, and all godsons. And I've had a very big hand in raising them. And I just cannot imagine a world where I could sit back as a parent, even a non-biological parent, and allow people to mishandle my children. And allow people to assume the space where mishandling them is okay, because it's not. And I naturally am a vocal person. I'm pretty intense as an individual, and that intensity carries very far when it comes to people that I love. And to live in a space where people that look like me and people that look like them specifically are villainized just because of the hue of their skin and the amount of melanin they have in their skin is unacceptable, and I just won't accept it. So I'm always going to speak out against that. I'm always going to fight against that. I'm always going to be vocal about it. I'm going to file complaints. I'm going to require or request that people step down out of positions. I will yell in megaphones. I will use signs and pitchforks. I will put my body in physical spaces, occupying spaces that I'm not supposed to occupy, so that they don't have to have that fight.
Wow. Wow.
So understanding that's your why, your activism toward justice, what have you learned?
I have learned that there is a power that exists that just thrives off of the assumption and the false idea of power. I do not acknowledge authority in human beings. I exist as equal, and I believe that we all exist as equal.
Yes.
So this idea that there is another human being that should exist above me and that I would have to acknowledge and answer to and submit to is false to me. Like, I don't submit to anyone but God. And because of that, I'm really being faced with, over the past year, really seeing like the straws that people will want to hold on to maintain that pseudo power. And so I've learned that, number one, that power is an idea. It is not real. I have learned that even though power is an idea and it is not real, what people do with that can harm people. And specifically in the city of Rockford, I've watched just the Rockford Police Department and many of its officers in jest and in amusement abuse authority. That's assumed. And so I've learned that while power is not real, power structures are. And the only true enemy of a power structure is evolved people. And so I've been spending a lot of my time and funneling a lot of my energy into educating people on their civic duty as citizens of the United States, in different ways that they can fight against that. I've been spending a lot of energy and a lot of time educating people on the necessity of mutual aid and establishing independence from that system. You know, like the idea of having your own and governing yourself so that no one can take what you have or govern you. So those are the kind of things that I'm spending a lot of my time focusing on based upon those things that I've learned over the last many years, but specifically like the rebellion of last summer really showed me that on a very different level.
You're not the first, you probably won't be the last in terms of fighting for justice for the plight of Black and brown people in this country. Who are some of the people that you look up to and you've learned from in this struggle?
My grandmother, Patricia Bennett. My grandmother was the first Black administrative law judge in the city of San Francisco.
Wow.
She also rocked with the Panthers.
Wow.
And she was, you know, very actively involved in the Oakland, California Black Power movement. And she made sure that we were educated about who we were, where we came from.
That's good. That's good.
That we are royal people and that we are not the sum of our experiences, that we had an existence prior to being slaves. She has a huge library at her house, and on her library, in her library, you'll see books about and from Eldridge Cleaver. You'll see books about and from Angela Davis. You'll see books about, you know, Malcolm X. You'll see books about Martin. So I really learned a lot and look up to her a lot because, number one, she was around when the movement that I am actively pursuing started. And she's educated from, you know, the perils of that area. So I look up to naturally to your Angela Davises, your Assata Shakurs. I look up to Malcolm X. I look up to the Black Panther movement, to the Fred Hamptons of the world. I look to those who refuse the status quo. I am not very much into submitting to a system by participation. I am very much into establishing an independence from that system. And so those are the kind of people that I look to. Dick Gregory is somebody that I really, really love. And also my experience in living in Birmingham, Alabama as the one-time epicenter of the civil rights movement has been very influential in my life. And to be in a space where a lot of the people that don't have, you know, big names, that did not go on to reach fame, but are still doing the work here in the city, is beautiful. It's beautiful to see and it's beautiful to experience. And I look up to them. Yeah.
Wow.
Let me chime in
Jet.
real quick. I want to ask you, you've been around, you've been different cities, you've been a lot of places, a lot of influences. What do you think about this town, Rockford? What do you think about
Rockford? Rockford makes me happy because Rockford is where my family is. And Rockford is where I spent a lot of time in my formative years growing up and, you know, running around on the West Side and doing stuff we ain't had no business doing and, you know, hanging out with people and, you know, like that's my upbringing. I love Rockford because it's my family. I detest Rockford because there is a very strong hold on the minds of the people that and by and large, of course, there are always exceptions to the rule, like you all, and many people that I know in the city, but there is a very strong sense of oppression there in a way that I have never seen in my life. Like I grew up in the South and you've never seen racism like you've seen it in the Midwest, specifically in Rockford. I went to schools that were segregated schools, you know, and they still are. for the most part in the South. And the oppression that you see in a space like that is nothing compared to the oppression that I've seen and experienced in the city of Rockford. It's mind-blowing to me that someplace that was the mecca for people of color to run to from the South can be so bigoted and so antiquated in their progress as human beings, and in human rights. The fact that the sheriff and the police chief run that city is crazy to me. Like, they are not governing body political positions.
Yeah.
Why do they have this kind of power, and why are people so afraid of them? Like, Rockford is the wild, wild west, or the wild Midwest. And it makes no sense to me because because I grew up elsewhere, I've seen what true progress can look like. I've seen what it looks like to see a city that's run by Black people, like Birmingham, Alabama, 77% Black, that is thriving and successful and upperly mobile. I've seen spaces like Nashville that people assume are like, Hicktown, Tennessee, be progressive in their politic and in how they handle people. Rockford is not that. Rockford is a city split by a river to this day, and it is thick, like you could cut it. It's so thick you could cut it with a knife.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's very sad.
Wow.
Aija, you said a lot. You've actually said a lot here. Who are some of the individuals that you've learned from in terms of leadership, and then where would you like to see yourself go with this movement toward the future?
People that I've learned from in leadership,
aside from your I know you mentioned
my
your
relatives,
grandmother.
There's so many people that I'm related to that I learned from. I really look to the leadership of Malcolm X. Malcolm was someone who was a very flawed individual and had a journey, but really kept the main thing in the forefront of his mind, the main thing. And he's someone, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, as Black leaders, are people that I look up to. They always seem to keep the main thing in the forefront of their mind. There's a very specific goal that they have always had, in the case of Mr. X, he had that he was willing to die about, and he was willing to be frowned upon, to communicate that thing to his people. And I feel the same way about Minister Farrakhan and Minister Muhammad. They really don't mind being ostracized for telling the truth of the matter and bringing the focus specifically to Black people. One other leader that I really look up to is who just passed away in this last year or two. He's the former mayor of Birmingham, Larry Langford. Larry Langford was a Black man. Most people don't know that Birmingham has had a Black mayor in this city every year since 1979. And
that's crazy.
Larry Langford was one of those who really specifically spoke to his people and did not mind doing so. There was one meeting, he had a town hall meeting that he called all the Black folks to, and had security guards outside of the gates, not letting white people in, so that he could communicate with his people about what they needed to do. That's the kind of leadership that I like.
That's good.
I like that targeted approach, something that is not ostracizing to other people, but not afraid to be specific with their own people.
That's good. That's good.
That's what I like. And so that's what I look forward to in leadership. I don't know that I'll ever pursue I can tell you now, I have no intention to pursue a political career. It is not, I am just a person who is concerned about people that look like me. And I'm a person who is concerned about the world that I'm leaving my kids to. And so I'm going to be active in that, and I'm going to be vocal in that. I don't think that I'd ever make the time to be a politician. I have no desire to do so. I don't think that you need to be a politician because I don't believe that the system that exists is the system that should exist. And so I will not actively participate in that. I will always oppose that. I will always resist that.
Wow.
And I'm okay with that. So yeah, that's that. I hope that answers your question.
Oh yeah, it does.
Wow.
It does.
Wow.
My last question is that how does this tie into your filming? I know you're in the arts, obviously, and art imitates life.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Talk a little bit about how you plan on integrating this into what you do.
So as a filmmaker, I like to tell stories that are shockingly true. You need my keys? Oh, okay. Okay. All right, cool. I'll be back in a minute. Sorry, y'all.
Mhm.
I tell films that are shockingly true, or tell stories that are shockingly true. And I feel like the truth of the matter always should be told from the perspective of those that are experiencing it. So every story that I've ever done, or every video that I've ever shot, or every stage play that I've ever participated in has always been radical. It has always been boundary pushing, and it has always told a truth. And so there won't be anything different about this time in my life, because that's just my ethos as a filmmaker, is to tell the raw black ass truth, like as real and as raw as it can get. That's what I'm going to do. I'm always going to center people who share experiences that I share. I'm always going to give the microphone to people who are marginalized. And so that's just my MO in life. Everything that I do is centered around that.
That's beautiful. That is
Beautiful.
Thank you.
And you had an offer to do an article with Time magazine. Talk to us a little bit about that, and when can we expect to see it?
Yes. So there was a reporter from Time magazine that reached out to me in response to my mugshot being released from when I was arrested at City Market. And the story was about just people who had been arrested from protesting over the summer, and how the arrests have impacted their lives. And because I live such an entrepreneurial life, and the businesses that I'm associated with are family businesses, I don't have that same experiences as someone who got fired from a job, or someone who can't go get a job because of their now misdemeanor or felony record, or pending cases or pending charges. So what I did was I reached out to those in the Rockford area that I did know were affected in that way, and I gave them that opportunity to speak with her. So it did not feature me at all. I was the one that she reached out to. And so I used that opportunity to center the voices of people that truthfully were impacted in that way. And that article came out, I think it might have been September-ish, maybe August, September-ish.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Well, make sure we look that up. Jet,
Yeah.
Brother.
you have a powerful daughter.
You sure do, man.
And
I'm proud of both of you, man. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Well, we to close out our show, I want you just to express, how it must feel as a father to know and have a daughter who is so actively involved in the struggle, and brilliant, beautiful, and is really doing the work. What does that mean to you?
And you can't even, there are not words, you know what I'm saying, to express the feeling to see your own doing well, first of all.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
Because a lot of us are not doing well.
Yeah, that's right.
And wow, man, before I can even answer that question, I just want to take my hat off to you guys for this show. This has really been eye-opening for me. And thank you for thinking about us and having my daughter on here.
Thank you.
Because I tell my other kids, you know, Asia and I, we go at it a lot. And what I mean by that is both of us have strong beliefs.
Yeah.
And both of us believe what we believe. So we go at it, you know. We debate. That's what I mean. I'm not talking about arguing.
Yeah.
We debate all the time, right? And this is the funny part. I always end up losing. You know, so I tell the other kids, I'm like, well, she be telling me all the time. I have to go with, because in the end, I have to say, okay. Okay. And she's right. All the time, she's right, you know, and she knows a lot. She knows stuff that I don't and didn't know. I learned seriously from her. A lot.
That's what it's all about, bro.
It's crazy, man. I mean, biblically, life wise, all of it, you know. She's knowledgeable. And that's the one thing that I take away from her life. And as I know she's gonna continue to be great, you know. It was great hearing about all the activism that she's involved in, you know, because we grew up in that 60s era.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So we know what's going on right now.
Yeah.
You know, and I have to say I was very proud of her. And I was so proud that every weekend while they were out protesting, I would go out there and sit and watch.
Wow.
You know, mostly I wanted to make sure my daughter was safe, but after the first few times, it became such a big thing, you know.
Right.
It became so important. These kids are out there, you know, marching.
Yeah.
They picking up the mantle, you know.
Yeah. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, we went through the 70s, 80s, and 90s,
Yeah.
early 2000s. It wasn't no big deals. All of a sudden, boom, the whole world goes crazy again.
Yeah.
And now we're back to where we were in the 60s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fighting the same battles.
Yeah.
But
Same battle. Same thing. Yeah.
They're picking it up. It's their battle now, you know. And I sat there, one thing I want to say, and I'm saying this to our people, because I would sit out there and just look and be in amazement, because most of the faces that were out there were white. But they were protesting for Black lives. Black Lives Matters. Our people weren't out there.
Yeah.
I don't know if they didn't know. They don't care. Like Ice Cube said in Boys in the Hood, either they don't know, they don't care, they don't show. You know, they didn't show up. So I was, you know, that was something that really stuck with me.
Wow.
And that goes back to Asia's point that she was making about just the mindset of Rockford and how it's such an oppressive mindset. So what can be done to break that, you know?
Yeah.
It's not one of those cities where it's a lot of entertainment going on, so you don't have a lot of people coming in here.
Yeah, right.
You know,
we know. Yeah.
Mobile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So getting information out is difficult here.
Yeah.
For us, you know what I mean? I'm talking about the real information, the stuff that we need to know. You know.
Right.
But I really love what you guys are doing, man. I really do.
Well, we appreciate it, man. You know, we could talk for about 2 hours, but we have.
Well, man, this has been an honor. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Jet, one more time. Someone wants to know what type of artists and writers are you looking for?
We're looking for all genres. When I say that, I mean the genres like R&B, pop, all the mainstream genres, hip hop. Okay. You know, because that's what's speaking to everybody right now. Music is
what's
the one
selling.
Thing, huh?
It's what's selling.
And it's universal. That's the one thing that you find, and I just heard this. I heard this last night from D from Run DMC. He was on MSNBC last night, and he was making the point of the things that we need to give ourselves. We need to educate ourselves. When I say ourselves, I mean us, our people. We need to take that responsibility now. You know, and seeing people like him, that's inspirational. For kids, you know, nowadays. And that's what we need more of. That's where I hate to say it, but it's the media that's where all the information is. Because we don't have the leaders out here in the communities like they used to have.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, we had a couple of leaders that supported Asia and the group that she was involved with during the summer. And I'm not going to call their names because they don't know it. I'm not going to put nobody on blast. But we had a couple, but only a couple. You know, that voice and said, this is a good thing you're doing.
Thank you, man.
I'm proud of you.
Man. Beautiful.
Beautiful. Well,
beautiful,
you know,
beautiful.
it's been a blast. You know, like I say, I'm proud of y'all. Your Rockford products, and I'm so proud of y'all. I'm so proud of y'all.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So
keep it going.
Thank you
Keep it
for having
going.
y'all
us.
just keep it going.
Oh yeah.
I know I
For
love
sure.
y'all. You know, we family.
We love you.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are.
We are family.
Yep.
Well, you're gonna be back on again, Jet. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna be back.
I hope you invite me back because I really enjoyed myself.
Yeah, you're gonna be back, baby.
Yeah.
You invite me back on, man. I would love to.
Yes, sir.
I would love to, man.
We want to thank everybody for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed our show today. The Penix family was on live and in color.
Amen.
Anything else? You got anything else, man?
I ain't got nothing else, y'all. Peace out.
We're leaving it on the
Thank
field.
you so much.
Yes.
Love y'all.
Love y'all.
All right. Love you guys.
Bye. I'm out.
Love you.
Later.
All right.
Later.
Love you, daughter.